opinion on immigration?
My opinion on immigration is that they need to protect the borders better.
Why do you think this?
I think that because the immigrants that come illegal, they steal the American citizens' jobs, to where the citizens can't make as much money as they would like, because the immigrants keep taking their jobs, so it's harder for them to make the money they need so they can support their families and stuff.
Ms. Presley.
Paso Border Patrol facility, I pressed my hand to a plexiglass window. I met the gazes of several women on the other side. Their shoulders were slumped, their clothes filthy, their eyes vacant. I turned to a Border Patrol officer and asked, "What is the temperature in this room?" The officer responded, "I do not know." I then asked how they set the temperatures in the room. He mumbled again, he did not know. Mr. Chairman, on the day of our visit, it was a sweltering 103 degrees in El Paso. "What's the heat index at which you bring folks indoors?" I inquired. Border Patrol responded with no answer. The most basic of questions about the care and welfare of those held in the custody of our government were either dismissed or met with a non-answer, affirming what we know. This agency was never built, never designed, never trained for the care and keeping of families. These families need trauma supports, caseworkers, clean water, adequate and nutritious food. Instead, they have received a level of degradation we should be ashamed is occurring on American soil. Once we realized we were not going to get the answers we needed from CBP officers, my colleagues and I pushed our way through a doorway to speak directly with a group of approximately 10 to 15 women who were detained in a small room. These women held thin blankets. They sat on the cold concrete. They had tears in their eyes, and as we walked in, relief and release as they collapsed at a sign of compassion. My colleagues, Representatives Kennedy and Ocasio-Cortez, translated the women's stories as quickly as they could. I held the hand of a woman who heaved sobs as she explained her deep fear that at any moment she could fall to the floor in a seizure. She's an epileptic, and the medicine she relies on had been confiscated.
% overcapacity, you're not going to be able to give conditions and have people safe in that scenario in any way. And so these facilities were designed for that booking procedure. They're not designed to hold large numbers of families and children. Now, the Border Patrol and CBP have adapted the best way they can, but with this kind of flow, they're just overwhelmed.
You know that more than 1 million immigrants became legal permanent residents of the U.S. in 2011. Of the new residents, 14% came from Mexico, 7.9% came from China, 6.4% came from India, and as of 2013, the Obama administration had removed nearly 2 million immigrants, the highest number under any president. The immigration process allows priority to foreign nationals who have a close family relationship with a U.S. citizen or LPR, who have needed work skills, have refuge or asylum status, or are native of countries with low immigration rates to the U.S. Every year, more than half of the LPRs are current residents whose status is changed permanent, and that is including orphans. Nearly 8% of all new LPRs in 2011 were children with immediate relatives as current citizens in the U.S., and 33.2% of immigrants were under the age of 25 years old. Between the times of 2009 and 2011, more than 70% of immigrants came from Asia and North America. Every year, more than 550,000 LPRs in 2011 were women, and more than 600,000 were married. In 2026, it's predicted that the government will have a shortage of 20 million workers. In the US, 5 states have become minority/majority, which means that less than half of the population of that state is non-Hispanic. White and the minority combined have become the majority. For the first time in 2012, the majority of babies under age 1 were Black, Hispanic, of another non-white race. The end.